Hello everyone, in this video I am going to talk about network access control list. But before learning network access control list, let us understand about security groups. As we know that in security groups, we can allow some traffic. But in NACL, what happen? You can allow the traffic also or you can deny the traffic also. For example, let us take a scenario. Suppose that there is a website and there is a lot of requests coming from few particular IPs. So it will crash down the whole system. So what we can do in order to prevent this thing, we can use NACL to block that particular IP redirecting to our website. So this is called as NACL, Network Access Control List. So NACL can help us to allow or deny traffic based on a specific IP address. Whereas in the security groups, you can only allow the traffic. Now let us talk about the practical of network access control list. So first of all, you have to go into the AWS management console, and here what you have to do, you have to search for VPC here. Now click on VPC. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to click on create VPC. Give your VPC a name. So I am naming it as NACL demo. Then give your IPv4 CIDR range. So I am ranging it as 10.0.0.0/16 and click on create VPC. Once your VPC is created, the next step is to create an internet gateway. So click on internet gateway, create internet gateway, name it as IZ. Now create internet gateway. So internet gateway help us to give internet access inside that VPC. Now I am attaching this internet gateway to that VPC. So click on attach to a VPC and select this VPC here. Once this thing is done, the next step is to create a subnet. So click on subnet here. Now click on create subnet. So I am selecting here my VPC here. And subnet, I am naming it as first subnet. Then here I am specifying my CIDR block. So 10.0.0/24. Now clicking on create subnet. Once this thing is done, the next step what you have to do, you have to go to the route table and you have to create a route table. So I am naming it as RT. Then I am selecting my VPC. Click on create route table. Now in the route table, you have to associate your subnets that you have created. So click on subnet association and click on edit subnet association. Just select your subnet that you want to get. Now click on save association. Now once the subnet is associated, the next step will be editing the routes and informing about the internet gateway. So click on add routes. And here I am adding my internet gateway. Now click on save changes here. Once this thing is done, the next step what you have to do is you have to go to EC2. So let me go to here EC2 here. And let me create an instance here. Now click on instance running. Click on launch instance. Here what I am going to do, I am going to give a name of the instance. So I am making it as NACL instance. The EMI that I am going to select here is Ubuntu. Instance type that will be selected by default is t2.micro, which is available in our free tier. The next step that I am going to do is I am going to create a key pair. So key pair is very important for securely connecting your local computer to your EC2 instance. Now click on create new key pair and give it a name. So I am naming it as NACLs. Now in the network settings, you have to edit this thing. So click on edit. And select your VPC. Now you have to assign your public IP. By default it is in disabled. So click on enable. Now in the security group, what I am going to do is I am going to add one more security group, which is basically the HTTP port. So I am going here, I am selecting the HTTP port. Source type will be anywhere. Once this thing is done, the next step what I am going to do is I am going to user data, and here I am adding some code. So let me just add some code here. So what I am doing in this code, let us understand. First of all, I am updating my Ubuntu. After that, I am installing Apache 2 into the Ubuntu environment. Next thing, I am creating an HTML page which contains two information, which is server detail and the host name. Once this thing is done, what I am going to do, I am clicking on launch instance. So now we have done all the things. Now what we have to do next is we have to first of all log in into our EC2 machine. So for that, I will be using my key pair. Now I am clicking on this, copying my public IPv4 address and just pasting it out. Now we can see that I am able to get my host name and my IP address. The next step what I am going to do is I am going to connect with this EC2 instance. So click on this NACL instance and click on connect. Now what are the steps that you have to do? Let us see that. So first of all, you have to open your CMD, and in your CMD you have to open WSL. If you not remember how to install WSL, you can just write like this: WSL -- install. It will install Linux system on your Windows machine. Once this thing is done, just write WSL. Now let me just clear this thing. So first of all, what you have to do, you have to move the file from download folder, basically the BIM file from the download folder to the main directory. So let me just write this command, MB, the location of the file. So I am just changing it as NACLs. Once this thing is done, click on enter. After that, what you have to do, you just have to enable the permission here. So just copy this permission, chmod 400, and just specify ~/ Click on enter. Now you have the enable the permission of. Next thing what you have to do, you just have to connect with the instance. So just copy this command, copy this here, and just specify the path and click on enter. Now it will ask, so click on yes. Now we can see that we are successfully logging into our EC2 environment. Just let me clear the screen. So clear. Now you can ping to your IP. So let me just ping to my IP, which is ping this IP. So let me just open a new tab. What is my IP address? Which is this one, and let me ping it. So we can see that I am able to ping my IP address. Now what I will be going to do, I am going to create a NACL which will block my public IP. So let me just close this thing. Let me go to the VPC here, and in the security there is an option called as network ACL. So click on here. Now you have to click. The first step that you have to do is go to your network ACL and click on network ACL ID. Now you have to edit your inbound rule. Now let us try to understand this thing. There is a thing called as rule number. So the first rule number is 100. It is allowing all the traffics. So if the first statement is true, it will not execute the second statement. So if you write here 101 and then provided your IP, what will happen here is it will not check this condition. So in order to check this condition, what you have to do, you have to make this thing as 99, not 101. So what I will do, I'll make it as 99. Once this thing is done, you have to click on Save Changes. So what I am doing is, I am denying all the access which is coming from my public IP. So I'm clicking on Save Changes and done. Now our inbound rule, we have successfully denied our IP address. Now let us try to connect our EC2 instance one more time. So let me go to my CMD here. Search for WSL. Now let us try to connect. So click on copy. Let me try to connect it again. We can see that we are now unable to connect with our EC2 instance because it has blocked my IP address for getting connected. So this is the overall demo for the network access control list. If you have liked this, you can do like and subscribe to our channel.